iPhone 8 Battery Replacement Guide. Warning: lithium batteries are highly explosive. Please replace at your own risk. For this replacement, we're going to need a Y-tip 00 or 000 screwdriver, a basic Phillips head 00 or 000 screwdriver, a Pentalobe proprietary screwdriver, a set of tweezers, a plastic prying tool for prying connections apart, a suction cup for prying the screen apart, as well as a triangular plastic tool and also a metallic tool to pry the screen apart. Go ahead and power down the phone if you haven't powered it down yet. Make sure it's completely off. Now, near the charging port, locate the two Pentalobe screws and use the Pentalobe screwdriver to remove the two screws. If the screen is badly damaged, use a piece of packing tape to create a nice and smooth surface for the suction cup to get suction. Without the smooth surface, the suction cup won't be able to get grip and it won't work as intended. Place the suction cup as close as you can to the home button. Now go ahead and pick up the phone and pinch it from both sides with your fingers and tug on the suction cup as you see here. Now take the metallic prying tool or any sharp tool. You could use a utility knife if you had to, and just sneak it in right below the home button. Make sure to go really gently and slightly in, and then tilt it left to right to get the separation going. The screen is glued in around the edge with waterproof tape. Use the plastic pick to separate the screen once you got the crack going, because you don't want to scratch up the phone frame with the metallic tool. Now run down the pick on both sides. Something to note: make sure not to go too deeply in, because on the right side of the phone there are two cable connections that are extremely fragile. If you go too deep in, you can damage them. Once both sides are separated, go ahead and tilt the screen left to right to loosen up the top just a little bit. Now what you want to do is you want to take the plastic pick and try to separate the top portion. If that doesn't work out, go ahead and use the sharper one. Be careful, you can scratch up the frame here, so go really slow. Use the sharp metallic tool to make the separation up top and separate the tape. Now go ahead and just crack it open, and it should fold out just like a book. There are two connections on the right side. You want to fold it out gently, you don't want to damage those connections. Okay, now we need to separate the phone from the screen. We'll start with the top camera connection cable. Go ahead and remove the shield that's secured with 3 Phillips head screws. Remove the 3 Phillips head screws as shown. Then you can gently lift up and move the shield out of the way. That will expose the camera connection. With a plastic prying tool, go ahead and just pop it up from underneath and it should come right out. Now go ahead and shift down to the second connection. That's guarded by a shield that's secured with 4 Phillips head screws. Go ahead and remove those 4 Phillips head screws. Make sure to keep the screw position when you lay them out, because they're different sizes. Now go ahead and remove the shield. With a plastic prying tool, go ahead and undo the LCD connection or the screen connection, and now go ahead and undo the digitizer ribbon cable. The screen is now separated. Now let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. It's secured right there. Go ahead and pry up on it with your plastic prying tool, and that should be disconnected. Now the battery is secured with 4 pull tabs. Now these tabs on the iPhone 8 are a bit more durable and are pretty difficult to mess up if you go slow. So if you go ahead and just start prying away some of the the taper right here on the corner, and just pull up on this little tab, this strap should start coming out just like that. A little bit at a time, not too fast, out away from the battery. These tabs are harder to rip. Previous tabs were very easy to rip and they were very long. These tabs are pretty short since they're on both sides. They're very strong. Go ahead and undo the next tab. Take your time, just peel it back. Sometimes they're kind of difficult to get, but with patience and time you should be able to get it out, no problem. Okay, that's 2. Go ahead and flip around the phone, and let's go ahead and pry out the 3rd one. We'll go ahead and speed it up here a little bit. That's the 3rd one coming out. Okay, now on the 4th and last tab, sometimes it can rip like you see here, but that's not a big deal. Go ahead and get your tweezers and get out the residual piece of the tab, and that should be enough to get it going again. Unlike previous tabs that would rip and get underneath the battery, this one, if it rips, it just kind of lingers there, so you can pull on it again, which is very good that they did that. Here it is, it's out. Here's what the battery looks like when it's out. Reassembly. Even though these pull tabs are better, I would still like to use double-sided tape. Go ahead and get some short pieces of M3 double-sided tape. Make sure not to put them over the wireless charging pad, the black circle that you see. Don't get anything on that, just put it over to the side. 2 strips on each side will do. Once you get those placed, go ahead and use tweezers to pry away the double-sided tape cover. With the covers removed and the double-sided tape ready, we can go ahead and place the battery right into its slot. Go ahead and line it properly with the connector, and then go ahead and push in the connector ribbon cable. Make sure it's nice and solid. Now let's reattach the screen to the phone. Go ahead and align it side by side. First, secure the top, the camera portion, by aligning it up just like you see here, and then clicking it in. Make sure you get a nice and firm connection. You don't want this ribbon cable connected crooked. You want it nice and firm. Now go ahead and place the shield right over this connection, and then secure it with the 3 Phillips head screws. Now moving on to the bottom, go ahead and reconnect the digitizer first. Just align the ribbon cable with the socket and then gently push it in. Make sure that you got a nice good click and feels firm and seated right in there. Once that's nice and firm, go ahead and reconnect the screen itself. Align that with the socket and press that in. Now go ahead and place the cover over both cables and secure it with the 4 Phillips head screws. The longest one goes right there on the right. The next longest goes next right there, and then the 2 shorter ones go on the top and bottom. And that's it. It's time to clamp up the phone. Clamping it up is very easy. Just close it up like a book and then apply pressure on both sides simultaneously, and just keep going around and pushing it in ever slightly, and it should start clicking right in. Then go around the contour, clicking in and mashing in the rest of the gap. So just go around a couple of times, make sure it's nice and firm, and now it's time to place back the 2 pentalobe screws near the charging port. Go ahead and load the screws in to their sockets. Then with the screws loaded, go ahead and secure them with the pentalobe screwdriver. And that's it. Now we can go ahead and power on and test the phone. Alright, that comes on. Great. If this guide helped you, please hit like and subscribe, and check out more awesome videos at appledollars.com.